Welcome to Pokemon Masters Council. I'm your host, Gym Leader Justin. We're coming back with number 2. That's right, Zero. Number 2, buddy. Who is it?
Hisuian Samurott, the best version of Samurott ever.
And arguably, we're calling it now, the PMC shout-out for number 1 best Hisuian Pokemon competitively.
Yep, I will definitely back that, especially in the world of singles. I think maybe Enamorus might be in the same echelon, but for me right now, this is my boy. This is my boy.
He's super broken.
Justin, before we get into it, we got to shout out all those new subscribers, everyone who has been supporting the PMC over the past few months. The growth has been incredible. If you're not subscribed already, we would love to have you aboard as part of the PMC. We're trying to reach 1,000 subscribers. We do how-to-use guides like this. We do battle videos. We do a bi-weekly podcast. And sometimes we play a little bit of Pokemon cards. If any of that interests you, hit that subscribe button.
Zero, we are so excited to kick off all of these new Hisuian Pokemon. If you guys haven't checked out already, whether it's now or in the future, definitely go check out our recent podcast where we go over all the new stuff with the home update and Regulation D. That's sort of the context a little bit of this video. We are so excited to kick off all of the Hisuian Pokemon. Aesthetically, I love him. I'm much more of a fan of him than I am regular Samurott for very small, nitpicky reasons, but fair enough, right?
Right.
He's not as thick. He went on the treadmill. He got slender. He got slim. I love the color palette. The black and the red is pretty sick. I like the kind of Fu Manchu mustache he's got going on. It's pretty sick too. I don't know. For some reason I like this one better than Unova.
That's understandable, but like, you know me, I've always been kind of a Samurott stan. I like others like in real life.
Can't be understated. This is like one of your boys.
Yeah, and when I saw the Hisuian version, I was so excited because I thought this design hit all the right areas. Like it hit all the good spots, and it wasn't too over the top. I thought this was perfect. I'm over the moon for this design and the fact that it is so viable competitively.
10 out of 10 aesthetics from you?
10 out of 10.
Hey!
10 out of 10.
You heard it here, folks. So let's get into it. We are on Pokemon DB as usual. Right now, there's no Pikalytics. It's brand new, and Regulation D is not out. We're coming at you. That's why you subscribe to the PMCs. It's because we bring all of these early pre-Reg D, so you're set day one with a couple different options for Hisuian Samurott. Zero, let's talk about his abilities and his typing as well. Water Dark. Pretty insane typing. We've seen this before. One of my kind of all-time favorite Pokemon, Crawdaunt from Ho and Gen. He was in my top 10 until Ludicolo took his spot recently back in 8th Gen. You know what I mean? Just how well Poncho did in the Dynamax meta. But Crawdaunt's amazing. Water Dark, and this Pokemon gets very similar move pool.
Water Dark, really good dual stab. I feel like we say that a lot, but we cover good Pokemon, so I feel like maybe that's why we say that. But yeah, we've seen this in Crawdaunt. Crawdaunt does incredible. We've seen it in Sharpedo in lower tiers as well, so like that can't be understated. Like, this is a really good combination, and when these Pokemon are able to mix fighting type attacks, which all 3 of them can, you've got a really, really strong, little tool belt of offensive moves here. And Hisuian Samurott actually comes with a lot of fun tech as well, but we'll talk about that in our slides. Justin, let's talk about the abilities.
Yeah, dude, Torrent, pretty standard. Every water starter gets it, even their variants. When you get low, you do more damage. Not really anything new for competitive pokes. Increased power of water type attacks by 50% if the bearer's HP falls below a third. And we also have his base stats, because as you can see here, there is a little bit in his base stats that changes from the Unova to the Hisuian form.
Yeah, the big difference here, though, that we got to talk about, he's got the ability Sharpness, dude.
Yeah, Sharpness. So this is the brand new one that they're giving out. We talked about this in the Gallade guide, but this guy gets it too. It powers up your slicing type move, so they kind of added another little sub-category of moves, little sub-archetype of moves, and powers it up by 50%, which is kind of crazy, right?
Yeah, and the sheer amount of slicing moves that Samurott gets access to really makes this a no-brainer in the ability department. You always run with Sharpness. There's really no reason to run Torrent at all.
But the base stats, pretty legit here. We have 90 base HP, which is really legit for what used to be a pretty squishy poke, right?
Yeah, so that's definitely a good one. We take those.
108 for physical attack. Not the highest in the world, but not too bad either. 80 physical defense, it's okay. 100 special attack, which is actually really respectable, considering, you know, that's not his main stat or his main offensive type, right? And then 65 spec D, that's his weak side, and then 85 speed for a whopping 528 base stat total.
Yeah. So this Pokemon hovering with a really nice rounded base stat total. That 108 doesn't look great on paper, but when you add sharpness to the equation,
and stab,
things get a little bit stronger. And stab, yeah, this is definitely workable.
So Zero, because Pikalytics doesn't quite have it out yet, we're a little bit early. We're going to be here on DB. We're just going to scroll down here. We can see the adorable artwork from home for the Oshawott, and then the Dewott going into Samurott and Hisuian form. But you scroll down, we can see all the moves. There's a few that we want to shout out that might not have made it into some of our sets, but they're definitely worthwhile. You had mentioned one specifically, like Drill Run. I like X Scissor. Sub is great. He also gets Taunt. I know you're a huge fan of Taunt.
Yeah, absolutely.
Special shout out here for Smart Strike. Can't miss, and it's Steel. That's pretty legit.
Yeah, so tons and tons of options and viable moves, like we had mentioned before.
Crazy move pool. He's got a crazy good move pool.
Yeah, absolutely.
The first set we're going to talk about, Zero, we're going to be going over and talking about the kind of how to use this dude in VGC. This is definitely a set you can run in singles, but it's sort of what I've been running so far in VGC, and it's a lot of fun. First up, we have the Hisuian Samurott with either the Life Orb or the Mirror Herb. I've tried this out specifically, and it was super it was very, very abusive, Zero.
Yeah, I believe it.
So, for people that don't know, real quick, the Mirror Herb, as soon as one of your opponent's stats gets boosted, you copy that boost. So, for VGC, Defiance everywhere, right, bro?
Yeah.
So you can, like, effectively auto-proc that to give your Samurott a Swords Dance without having Swords Dance on the set. That's what Mirror Herb is there for. Because you have, like, an Icy Wind or something like that, and you proc their Defiant, which then gives them +2 attack. You get +2 attack with the Mirror Herb and pops your... It's only one time, but it's pretty legit, right?
Yeah, so it's really nice to partner this Pokemon with something like Arcanine or Gyarados.
Absolutely. Intimidate's coming in. It's a great shout.
Yeah.
We're going to go Sharpness. We're going to go Jolly. Max attack and speed. There's not really a lot to play around with there from my personal taste. I just like to fast hit hard with this boy. There's a couple options for Terra. If you go Poison Jab, you go Poison Terra. If you go Sacred Sword, you go Fighting Terra. But for me personally, I go Trip Stab, baby. I like the Fighting Terra. I love Sacred Sword. But also, I do want to shout out that double dip of Dark, Zero. What do you think here?
Yeah, super strong Sucker Punches. We're not really getting a lot of Queenly Majesty or Psychic Terrain in these formats anymore. Those Pokemon aren't really that viable with the Treasures of Ruin running around. So Sucker Punches, you're pretty much free to let those things fly. Otherwise, obviously you can go with something like Knockoff to disrupt some items or what have you on your opponents. So yeah, double dip Sucker Punches, really strong. Nice way to supplement some damage you might be losing and not using Ceaseless Edge in the slot.
Perfect segue. Speaking of Ceaseless Edge, bro, can you please walk it through here? I wanted to pull up this first set so you can kind of see it in use. So we talk about it now. Ceaseless Edge is his signature move. It's pretty amazing. You want to take us through all the ins and outs, because this is where it goes. If you go Terra Dark here, his Ceaseless Edge is going to destroy everybody.
So Ceaseless Edge is a 65 base dark move. It is a slicing move, so it's boosted by that. It's also boosted by stab. You could double dip for that Terra Dark and just destroy everybody. But the big thing with Ceaseless Edge is every time you use Ceaseless Edge, you set spikes on your opponent's side of the field. And there is no counterplay. You can't magic bounce them back. So the counterplay is clicking a move, which would be like Defog or Rapid Spin. But there is no way to stop those spikes from being set once a Ceaseless Edge has hit an opponent, making this one of the most oppressive offensive spike setters we've ever seen.
Yeah, he's great for being just really ripping through your team, and when they bring somebody in that might have been on a sash, not anymore. It's insane. So yeah, going Terra Dark, I've tried that. It is brutal. I also like Terra Fighting, and we mentioned the Terra Poison because he doesn't get access to Poison Jab, so that's pretty cool here. You could go also Terra Steel with Steel Strike if that's your option, because again, he gets Steel or Poison to deal with fairies, which normally he's weak to, so take your pick. But otherwise, that's pretty much the moveset. It's protects 3 attacks. I personally go with Aqua Cutter over Aqua Jet, and I personally go Sacred Sword over the Sucker Punch. So right now, I'm not running any of his priority moves, but I wanted to put him on the set just so people realize this dude gets double priority stab moves.
This dude has so many options, you will give yourself a headache trying to pick what moves you need.
Yeah, you have to make multiples of this guy. That's the
Yeah, pretty much.
That's the answer. Let's go over and talk about his viability in singles, yeah?
We've got a couple sets for you guys, and I think the first one I think that you and I both want to talk about is the singles setup set.
This one's important because it's kind of bifurcated intentionally. There's so many options here. Drill Run's not here, but it's a crit move, and it's 100% accuracy, and it's ground, so like that's an insanely good move to slot in here. We already talked about Smart Strike, so there's so many options here. We just only have so much room on the screen, you know?
Yeah, pretty much.
So definitely you need to season to taste here. Don't you can copy paste from what's here, but don't just think that this is like biblical truth here on screen.
Yeah.
We do have the Focus Sash or the Scope Lens, respectively. I personally love these options. Scope Lens goes for the crit build, and Focus Sash for the Sword Stance. Pretty simple. You have the Sword Stance. You know, you live on the one that you guarantee live on that 1 HP. Guarantees you that turn to click Sword Stance, and then sweep away with either Aqua Jet, Sucker Punch, all kinds of, you know, stab priority, different types of stuff. Ceaseless Edge is really good for the Sword Stance set. We've already talked about that. Everything we talked about in the first set still applies here. Same thing with Aqua Cutter. Another great move. It is a slicing move, water, physical, all the things you want for this stab, otherwise Aqua Jet. But in that dark slot, instead of Ceaseless Edge 0, we have Night Slash. That's because this boy gets Focus Energy. Now, why is this important?
With the combination of Scope Lens, Focus Energy, and a naturally high critting move, you have a 100% chance to crit between those 3 things, Justin.
Absolute brutality 0. And that's still sharpness boosted, Night Slash. So it's just through the roof how much damage this potential has. Sword Stance is great because it just boosts your raw damage. Focus Energy is great because it can help you tank bust because you crit and you get around defense boosts. So it's pretty awesome there. Not to mention you can do a heck ton more damage. Fighting or Poison, again, Steel could be great here for different options in your Terra, depending on what your move slot is. I also want to shout out that either one of his dual stabs are great Terra options, either Dark or Water.
Yeah, I think it makes the most sense to go Poison, Fighting, Water, or Dark for your Terra with this Pokemon. I mean, you could get creative with some other stuff, but for me personally, I think those ones are the best. I will shout out what I think is the best in our next slide.
Oh, baby. And this is a hot one because this Pokemon already exists in the game, competitively made or printed and ready to go. Now, he's not shiny.
No.
But as you see on this slide, we did put the shiny avatar here to just, you know, because this is a special one. This is Zero's first competitive ready Hisuian Samurott. His first competitive Hisuian Pokemon.
Yeah, I think this is the best way to use Samurott. I think this is hands down the best Samurott set out there. I think he's best used in singles. He's great in doubles. But I think in singles, this is where he really, really shines and fills this really special role that we haven't really seen in the game very much. And this is just a super oppressive spike stacker. I feel like Greninja might be the closest thing we've had to something like this.
A crazy,
in a really long time.
Just offensive spikes lead.
Yes.
The difference is Greninja had to click spikes. This guy gets to attack you and set spikes simultaneously. It's so broken.
Yeah. So we're going with the Focus Sash here because we're going to be leading off with this Pokemon. I run Adamant because I run Sucker Punch. I just kind of maximize my damage that way. So
yeah, so it's either Adamant or Jolly. season to taste, depending on what you think your team will need.
Sharpness boosted, obviously. We're never doing anything but sharpness. And then Terra Poison. For me, I think this is the quintessential best Terra for Samurott. You resist a lot of the things you were weak to when you were a water and dark type with this Terra. Nobody's going to click a psychic move on you, and psychic coverage is pretty rare right now anyway. So basically this makes you pretty much just weak to ground, which, you know, Garchomp does exist, I will say that. But point of this set is to...
You also have Aqua Cutter, right?
Aqua Cutter, yep. But the point of this set is to click Ceaseless Edge as much as possible.
Definitely. I like that last move slot.
Oh yeah, you got the knockoff or the encore. Right now I'm running encore. It's really nice against things like a Spothra.
85 base speed encore. You know what I hear when I see that? I see somebody that can outspeed me when I'm a Rillaboom lead.
Yes.
With those Rillaboom fake out.
Yep.
Do you know what I mean? And he just got in as well. We just shout out for my Boomer. Link in the description. We just did a guide for Boomer. But yeah, this dude is insane. Being able to encore at 85 speed is really good for that utility poke. It's not like the greatest thing in the world, obviously, but it's insane because he outspeeds so many tank / utility pokes that are going to be clicking moves that can be, you know, that you can lock them into, like, you know, Tailwind, Helping Hand, Protect, not to mention there might be setup moves like Swords Dance, Dragon Dance, Iron Defense, etc. You know what I mean? Depending on whether you're singles or doubles. I know I kind of listed some stuff for both metas there, but you get my point, right? This set is built for singles, and I'm already finding uses for it in doubles.
Yeah.
Because he gets Icy Wind as well with a base 100 special attack. That's not bad.
Spothra is another big one. Like, they like to protect turn 1 or they like to Calm Mind. You can completely disrespect that.
That's a good shout out.
And click Encore.
That's a really good shout out. Encore breaks Kevin's back very hard. So I really like that shout out, man. This is a great set. We've used it already in practice, kind of behind the scenes, using... Special shout out to Pokemon Showdown Simulator, but it's been a lot of fun. This dude is amazing. He's putting in work. Brandon texted me this morning. He goes, "Dude, he's cracked." I was like, "I know, dude. Isn't he insane?"
Yeah. I've got some matches in the casual ladder where a lot of people are testing some Reg D stuff, and people are just not ready.
They're not ready for this boy. He's the new big guy on campus. He's the new Flutter main, right? Like, he's the new biggest poke in the meta kind of thing. The new Chen Pao.
Yeah, he will definitely be around. You're going to see this Pokemon on so many teams, so get your hazards. Your hazard Pokemon ready. I think things like maybe Iron Reds could be.
I think that's a really good shout
answer.
Because Great Tusk is weak to him. Great Tusk gets Rapid Spin as well. That's what Zero's referring to.
Yeah.
But Iron Treads is part steel, so at least you know what I mean. You have that going for you. It's just, I don't know. It's a tough spot for him to be in. I think my shout to counter him might be Genies, because some of them still have Defog. And I'm pretty sure we have Prankster Defog Tornadoes, so that's pretty legit, and that might be a good way to go. Other than that, it's hard because you can't taunt him because he's dark naturally, so you can't stop the Encore. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, if you're a Prankster Genie, it's. But Tornado's Therian can U-turn on him and also jump
he's weak to U-turn,
defog,
which is a lot in singles. Like, that's a big deal, but that's another good shout to go bug or fighting. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, very, very fun here. We can't wait to show you guys some battle vids. In the future, if we do have some feature battle vids, they will be in the description. Upon release, they're probably not going to be out day 1, but stay tuned for those. Zero, you ready to get out of here and go test out some stuff on the ladder?
Let's do it, buddy.
All right, until next time. I've been Gym Leader Justin.
And I'm Zero.
Council's adjourned.